Yo, how's it going everyone? Hope you guys are doing well and of course having a great day. Now, in this video, we're just going to be talking about Wesker, the newest killer to be added to Dead by Daylight. We're just going to have a brief discussion about what I like about him, where I think he could be tweaked going forward, and of course, whether he's good or helpful for the game going forward with the new design language that they're going for. Now, in this video, we're not going to be talking about the two survivors that were added, which is Rebecca Chambers and Ada Wong. That's going to be for a separate video. And to make this video easier, we're going to be split it into 4 categories. We're going to be talking about 1, his design, 2, his power, 3, his perks, and 4, we're going to be talking about potential tweaks going forward that might make him more fun to play against or more fun to play. Now, let me preface this by saying that this video is basically just going to be my opinion. I'm completely open to the idea that I might have a different opinion to you, and I might have a bad opinion about certain things. So if you do have a different opinion or feel that I maybe have overtweaked certain things, let me know in the comment section below. I'm by far not the best DBD player in the world, so if you think that there's a slightly better way of approaching something, I completely welcome it, and we can have a civil discussion about it. Now, quickly before we start, if you enjoy this video at all, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment below, and of course, as always, hit that subscribe button to be notified when I upload any new videos. So without further ado, let's start the video. Now we're going to start with category 1, which is design. Now, we're not going to be talking about his power per se. I just want to talk about Wesker as a whole. Now, Wesker we actually knew was coming a little bit before he got officially announced. Prior to the leak, where we knew it was coming, I hoped that they would do a kind of more basic version of Wesker, less mutated with the Ouroboros virus, and that is exactly what they did. I completely love the way they've designed Wesker, the super simple basic trench coat look with the sunglasses, and most importantly, the voice lines. I am so glad they include these voice lines of him trash talking people, of him just saying iconic Wesker-like phrases. It's so cool, and they're starting to do this going forward. They're doing it now on survivors, and I just think that it makes the game feel way more dynamic. I really do hope they go back to previous killers that are originally designed by them, or even potentially licensed killers if they still hold the license, and add voice lines. It would make the game feel so much better. It makes it feel more dynamic, it makes it feel more updated and new, and it's just more fun to play for everyone in my opinion. Now, let's quickly talk briefly about his power. Now, I'm not going to go into the super specific details of each and every bit of his power. That's not something I really want to get into, but we're going to briefly talk about how I feel his power works and what I think it does well. So, firstly, his power is super fun. His double dash mechanic, where he can dash once and then quickly dash again, really fun. It feels like you have to learn it, you have to be able to use it correctly. It feels like the skill ceiling has been raised. So overall, I'm going to give it a thumbs up for that. And of course, his pickup mechanic, where if you dash into someone, you kind of push them forward. If you connect with the surface, you either injure them, or if they're already injured, you pick them up directly. First off, I just want to say that I love the auto pickup mechanic. It works really well. It makes the game feel way more dynamic, way more fun, way more just fast-paced, which I think this game kind of needs. There's a lot of killers where you go through the same gameplay loop of hitting someone, they'll fall to the ground, and then you'll slowly pick them up. And I just think the game's aged past that now. And I'm so glad they've actually done something where it just feels a lot more fast-paced and dynamic. So thumbs up to that. Now, saying those good things about his power, I have 2 little minor negative things. Now, since the PTB, they've fixed a bunch of the collision from dashing. It feels a lot better than the PTB, but it's still extremely janky, and I still think needs a little bit of tweaking, but we'll get more specifically onto that going forward later on in the tweak section. And also, his hitbox has been made way smaller. Now, as previously, we'll talk about this, how I would fix it going forward, but it has been lowered from 40 centimeters to 20. So his hitbox from picking up a survivor has basically been halved. And at some points, it does kind of feel like you're covered in butter and you're sliding past survivors, which kind of feels... sometimes you'll hit a survivor and you'll think you should pick them up or hurt them, and you just don't. And that is one aspect of his power where I think it just doesn't feel that rewarding. So yeah, that is one of the negatives of it. I think it's been over-tweaked to kind of counter for the fact that in the PTB, it was pretty darn big. Now, yeah, let's get on to perks, and I'll give my opinion of those going forward. Now, let's talk about his 3 perks that has been brought into the game. We've got Superior Anatomy, which increases your vaulting speed next time you vault a window when someone performs a rushed vault within 8 meters of you. It's a pretty good perk. I've used it very briefly. It's okay. I mean, I don't really see myself going back to this perk a ton because it does have a cooldown of 30 seconds, which, in my opinion, just removes the usefulness of the perk in long-term chases, because you have to make sure that when you vault, you're really making it count. Now, potentially, it could have decent synergies with other perks that I should try, but overall, Superior Anatomy, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Next, we have Awakened Awareness, the perk that I've actually used quite a lot so far since he's been out. It basically makes it so when you're carrying a survivor, you see the aura of other survivors that are around 20 meters from you. Now, overall, I think this perk is simple on its own, but has really, really good synergies with things like Starstruck and then with Nurse, etc. Now, this perk was actually nerfed since the PTB, and I think because of Nurse, it got added. They removed a part of it which allowed it to linger 2 seconds after you hook someone. Overall, the perk itself is still strong. Now they've taken away that extra 2 seconds after you've hooked someone. It's not the best perk in the game, but definitely has good synergies. I'm going to give Awakened Awareness a 7 out of 10. And finally, we have Terminus. Once the exit gates are open, Terminus activates. All injured, dying, or hooked survivors suffer from broken until the exit gates are opened. Now, it's okay. I've used it briefly, and it kind of does its job. I mean, it's just a perk that you would probably have to run a build specifically around this. I don't know really what it would do unless people want to potentially do a protection hit or something like that. It does its job, but then again, I feel like if you're using a perk slot on this, there's many other things that could work even better. I'm going to give Terminus a 5 out of 10. So overall, his perks are okay. That's what I'd describe them as. I like Awakened Awareness, but I don't see myself using the other perks that often. Now, obviously going forward, there might have been synergies discovered from further use that we haven't found yet. I need to trial probably with some of these perks more often and give them a try with other perks I don't particularly use initially. But yeah, going forward, we'll see. They might be tweaked, they might be buffed, who knows. Let me know what you think of these perks in the comments below. Which one's your favourite? I think I know which most of you will say, but maybe you guys have found a useful nature for the other ones. But yeah, let's get on to the tweaks and I'll see what you guys think about what I would do to tweak him. As I said previously, this is my opinion of what I would do to fix Wesker going forward. Completely subjective, but I'd like to hear your opinions of these. So, firstly, I would raise Wesker's hitbox. Now, in the PTB, his hitbox was 40 centimeters and now has been decreased to 20. Now, I don't think it should be going back up to 40 centimeters. I think potentially try 25, and if we still have potentially even more issues with it, let's raise it to 30. But I do think 25 might be the sweet spot where it'll feel fair, but also not stupid, where we're picking people up around corners and carrying them and making survivors super, super bad. Because in the PTB, it kind of did feel a little bit broken. So overall, 25 centimeters might be the sweet spot. Now, it's tough to know without trying it, or if not, 30 centimeters. That's what I would do to fix that. Next, I would potentially try and fix the collision further around the map. Now, in this game, there's always going to be issues with collision and that sort of stuff. Now, we know this thing with Blight. I would make him potentially slide around certain surfaces. That might not be the best idea going forward. I don't particularly know. But there is certain things where it seems like it shouldn't stop you dead on a tiny corner, and it does. Maybe just have him bounce around it. Now, there isn't a single thing that can fix this across the game. There's not a mechanic that would fix this. It just would need time and attention for people to go around and tweak the maps, which they might do, and maybe over time it will slowly improve if they want to do that, but only time will tell. I think the collision needs to be fixed a little bit further with areas of the maps. Finally, I think that there is some serious issues with collision in terms of drops and ledges. If you hit someone and you drop down a hole or stuff like that, I've noticed that the game can bug and you can sometimes just drop a survivor without even injuring them. This needs to be fixed. There needs to be a consistent way of knowing what's going to happen if you hit a survivor down a hole, off a ledge. It just feels at the moment like you're just kind of waiting to see what the game does, which is not exactly good in this type of game. You need something that's a bit more rewarding, because if the game is that inconsistent, maybe survivors can use it to their advantage, and overall it would be just, not that fun. So I don't know what you guys would think about that. I think it just needs to be a consistent way of happening when someone gets thrown off a ledge, fix the collision, and overall increase Wesker's hitbox by probably about 5 centimeters. But overall, to summarize what I think of Wesker so far, it would be 1, really, really fun killer, super rewarding to play in sense of when you do get a nice little hit or you dash over someone, it works really, really well. He's got really decent add-ons which allow you to tweak your playstyle to exactly how you want. Does not have the best iridescent add-ons in the game. I think they're not the most powerful by far. But with a minor bit of tweaking in terms of the bugginess of his throws, the hitbox, and potentially how he reacts with certain things like collision and encounters with drops and ledges, I think Wesker could be a really, really high skill ceiling killer that a lot of people could come back to, develop high win streaks, and really, really have a good time with. I think it's a really good step going forward for the guys to have this type of killer in the game. He feels a lot more dynamic, a lot more fun. He's really, really fun, but you could tell that they're having a few issues with him at the moment in terms of his collision, his tweaking, and this is an issue that I do think Behavior has, where they see an issue and then they over-tweak it. There is no need, in my opinion, to make his hitbox 20 centimeters. They halved his hitbox. It was, unfortunately, an over-tweak. I don't know why they did it. They could have easily lowered it to 30, see if it was still OP, and then tweak it down from there. But now they've gone the complete opposite way, made him really, really weird to play in certain scenarios, and now they need to go back on their word, if they do, of course. So that's my brief, non-in-depth opinion of Wesker. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I love to welcome a conversation. If you like this style of video where I talk over some gameplay, let me know also. I just kind of want to know roughly what you think and what you enjoy more. And of course, I assume the likes and comments and views will speak for that. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheerio!